Saskatchewan seizes another AI opportunity. What a Saskatoon expansion means for the tech industry. Post repercussions. Why a Saskatchewan man has been ordered to pay up for what he said online. And rapid ripening, the sudden abundance of berries at a Saskatoon business.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. Saskatchewan is capitalizing on another tech opportunity with a major expansion in Saskatoon. And as Keenan Sorokon reports, it's hoped the growth announced today will help fuel technological advances over the next decade.
What was once a 300-square-foot office in Saskatoon is growing to become the world's next home of vital hardware for the technological boom.
From a small startup to becoming the largest tech company in the province, making an impact on the world stage, this is our Made in Saskatchewan story.
Siemens EDA, which started as Solido Design Automation in 2005, is adding another 10,000 square feet to its space in Saskatoon, which will allow the company to grow from 300 to 400 employees. The company is seen as a pioneer in using AI to automate computer chip design. The phone, laptop, or car you use every day has a chip inside of it, and it's software built here that's making them smaller and better performing while using less power.
We are proving that you don't need to be in Silicon Valley to do the work in technology that has a massive global impact.
As the latest tech advancement in Saskatchewan, Premier Scott Moe says capitalizing on a $1 trillion semiconductor industry that is only growing represents an economic opportunity.
That's exciting, I think, for us and as individuals working in this industry, as companies like Siemens EDA, but it's also exciting for us as a province and being part of a broader strategy across Canada.
Siemens Canada says this expansion combines local talent with its global scale and represents its confidence in the Canadian tech sector.
It's always a race. It will continue. The innovation cycles are getting shorter and shorter, so we cannot stop. And we will continue to invest in this business.
Rather than see innovation in faraway places, semiconductors powering the future will be designed and fine-tuned right here in Saskatchewan, the latest home of AI opportunities. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Crews from the Saskatoon airport responded to a situation involving a plane that ran into issues while landing this morning. The airport confirmed that at about 8:30 there was an incident upon landing involving a Cessna 310. No injuries were reported, but the aircraft remained incapacitated on the secondary runway where crews worked to remove the plane and take it to a nearby facility. The airport did not specify exactly what caused the issue, but did say the airport remains fully operational. A Saskatchewan man has been ordered to pay $150,000 for comments he made on Facebook. CTV's Laura Woodward has more on the defamatory posts and why the plaintiff's lawyer says the case sets a precedent.
In 2020, Jack Harper wrote Facebook posts accusing Deborah Perry, the administrator for the RM of Pleasantdale, of theft and lying. Perry filed suit for defamation, and a judge in Melfort found all the statements to be untrue and defamatory and ruled Harper acted with malice. Quote, his goal of achieving maximum harm to Miss Perry's reputation is evidenced in his extreme language. The judge ordered Harper to pay $150,000 in damages.
You can't be posting on the internet that a person whose job is being trusted by the public to administer a municipality is a thief or a liar or misallocating funds when those things just aren't true. And there has to be some consequences for that.
Perry's lawyer says the ruling sends a message that defamatory social media posts have consequences. He says municipal administrators in Saskatchewan are frequently targeted online.
She wanted to set a precedent and say, you know, enough's enough.
And here's the kicker. Harper had the option to settle by writing an apology and paying $5,000, but he failed to show up to court 3 separate times. CTV attempted to contact Harper, but were not able to reach him. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
RCMP have charged 2 people in connection to a shooting in Melfort earlier this month that left 1 person seriously injured. On July 7th, police say a fight between a group of people on 1st Avenue South resulted in 2 men being shot. One of the victims' injuries were serious. The others were considered non-life-threatening. The next day, RCMP searched a home and seized a crossbow, a gun, ammunition, cocaine, and drug trafficking supplies. Officers also found 2 loaded guns in a vehicle. 2 men are facing a string of charges in connection to the case. A man RCMP were looking for in connection to the alleged abduction of a woman has been arrested. 31-year-old Kevin Watt is charged with 1 count of kidnapping with a gun and failing to comply with legally imposed conditions. He was arrested yesterday in Lloydminster. RCMP had issued a warrant for his arrest after a woman was taken from the Loon Lake area on Monday. She has since been found. Watt appeared in court this morning. The owner of a former school in Richmound is headed to trial. The property was where a woman who called herself the Queen of Canada resided with her followers for nearly 2 years. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details from court.
Although the charges against the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada have been dropped, the man who owned the property that allowed she and her followers to reside in will go to trial in January 2027. Ricky Mans is facing 3 charges: failing to comply with the release order condition, intimidation of a justice system participant, and failure to comply with an undertaking condition. He is also facing 7 additional charges relating to previous incidents, including assaults, resisting arrests, mischief, uttering threats, and obstructing municipalities. Mans allowed the group's leader, Romana Didolo, and her followers to reside at the former school in Richmound for almost 2 years. Saskatchewan RCMP arrested a total of 16 people in September of 2025, seizing imitation semi-automatic handguns, ammunition, and electronic devices during the search of the group's compound. Didolo was charged with 1 count of failing to comply with undertaking conditions and intimidating a justice system participant. However, her charges were stayed by the Crown earlier this year, a month before a preliminary inquiry was scheduled to take place. As for Mans, the Crown and defense have agreed to set his 4-day trial from January 5th to 8th, 2027 here at Swift Current Provincial Court. He is not in police custody as he awaits his next court appearance. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Swift Current.
This year's unpredictable weather patterns have created an unexpected surprise at the Saskatoon Berry Barn. Owners say after a slow start to the season, the berries ripen much faster than expected, meaning the picking season is now in full swing. And as Carla Shinkaruk reports, the clock is ticking for anyone hoping to fill a pail.
They're just so good.
This Saskatoon berry picker is taking advantage of the suddenly ripe crop at the berry barn. She filled over half a bucket in less than half an hour.
You can get a lot of berries. Oh.
Co-owner Grant Erlinson has been here in the Saskatoon berry business for 29 years, and last year was his first bumper crop, but says this season has been one of the most surprising yet.
I was telling everybody, oh, it's going to be 7 to 10 days, and I was such a liar. Yeah, you can see where we've trimmed off. I was just shocked when some of my guys came in and said, you know, the berries are ready. And I said, what? We went out and looked, and sure enough, they had turned in like 2-3 days. Just crazy amount.
It all started with some rain earlier this month.
We got 2 or 3 inches there in a couple days over a weekend. Then we got the hot, humid weather, and things just exploded.
The rapid ripening has created a short window for picking, but it's welcome news for those who are eager to stock up.
They're so plump this year. Like, they're pretty plump last year, but they're much better this year, I'd say.
Erlinson says the earliest they've ever had berries ready was the 3rd week of June, while the latest to start picking was the 3rd week of July.
What we have is very good quality.
This year's crop falls about a week earlier than that late season mark. But this crop doesn't have much time.
And I'm predicting within a week we'll probably be done Saskatoon berries. So if anybody wants to pick Saskatoon berries, you got to get at her, because they're not going to hang around.
Good timing for this group as they have big plans ahead for the Saskatoons they picked.
I'm going to be turning these guys into cupcakes.
Pies, cupcakes, muffins. Might just eat them plain straight.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Power has been restored to communities in northeastern Saskatchewan after a severe weekend storm left thousands in the dark. Fallen trees and high winds brought down power lines over the weekend, causing widespread power outages. Sask Power says it was the highest number of outages Saskatchewan has seen in 4 years, with about 50,000 customers affected. The village of Elsham, just southeast of Nipawin, declared a local state of emergency yesterday due to the prolonged power outages and damage to its municipal water system. Sask Power says as of late yesterday afternoon, power has been restored to all communities in the northeast. A heavy overnight rainfall has caused flooding issues in the southeast, including in Estevan and Beanfate. The storm was too much for the pump system in Beanfate, causing flash flooding. Environment Canada has not given an exact rainfall total. The town is applying for provincial disaster relief. In nearby Estevan, there was less rain, but power outages in parts of the city lasted until this morning. Meanwhile, Farm Credit Canada is offering support for prairie producers dealing with flooded or saturated fields. It says supports for those facing flood-related financial pressure also apply to delayed field operations caused by severe weather. Customers hard hit by weather events this season are encouraged to contact FCC to find out what options are available. Well, Jeff, it seems like the mixed bag is on pause for now, and now we have the heat.
We have heat, and with that heat, though, we have the potential triggering of some more thunderstorms and unsettled weather. In fact, that's what we anticipate as we make our way into maybe not the next day or so, but certainly as we approach the weekend, because temperatures are certainly on the rise. We'll talk about that later on, but just to add to what Chantel was talking about, a lot of unsettled conditions coming through not just Saskatchewan, but obviously emanating from Alberta and parts of Montana and making their way into our province. And so certainly unsettled conditions as we make our way into the next 12 hours or so. We'll talk more about that later on.
Saskatchewan's largest active wildfire has burned more than 15,000 hectares. The number of active wildfires in the province is down to 44 this week. Last week, there were 71. The SPSA says crews were able to contain parts of the border fire and are now focusing on new areas and protecting values. Crews are working to limit the spread of the bud fire southeast of Lac La Ronge by backburning. Cabin owners and other property owners, as well as lodge operators in the area, should monitor the smoke forecast. Another Saskatchewan city is dealing with the reality of Dutch elm disease being a permanent problem. Like Saskatoon, Regina is now dealing with cases of Dutch elm disease that officials say are likely here to stay. City crews were out today removing trees that tested positive for the disease. 26 cases have been confirmed so far in Regina, a growing trend since 2024.
Not storing and transporting elmwood is a big thing that we would like people to know. Not pruning your elm trees during the pruning ban, and then just trying to keep your trees as healthy as possible. So cutting out any dead wood when you can, and watering and fertilizing.
Last year, the city of Saskatoon had 41 Dutch elm disease cases, with the city estimating this year will be well beyond that number. The Saskatchewan NDP is kicking off its rural tour this week. Its first stop was today in Balgony. NDP MLA Jared Clark says now that the party has 26 members in the legislature, it has the ability to cover all corners of the province and have to face conversations with the public about pressing issues such as healthcare.
People are feeling frustrated, and so we are going into these communities, and we are, as part of this tour, going into many communities across the province in rural Saskatchewan to listen, to have conversations about what could fix healthcare in their communities and build a plan that's going to deliver those things.
Clark adding that people in rural Saskatchewan have also brought up concern about the new funding model for $10 a day childcare introduced recently by the provincial government. Cameco has announced its Cigar Lake mine in northern Saskatchewan is resuming productions after a temporary shutdown. 2 weeks ago, the company announced production was suspended because of operational issues at Orano's McLean Lake uranium processing mill. The mill processes ore from Cigar Lake and was facing challenges with its sulfuric acid plant that forced it to shut down to repair the problem. Cameco says the McLean Lake mill is back up and running and the Cigar Lake mine has resumed production. An annual tradition returned at the RCMP Academy in Regina. Foot drills, a field gun drill, and the ceremonial lowering of the Canadian flag at sunset, all part of the sunset ceremonies. Last night's event also served as the backdrop for a major announcement about the 2028 Can-Am Police Fire Games that are heading to Regina, with proceeds supporting Special Olympics Saskatchewan.
The partnership with Special Olympics Saskatchewan is such a cool one. You know, the Can-Am Police Fire Games and Special Olympics Saskatchewan share similar values. The two organizations support each other, and so it's really cool that we could announce this and that we could announce it today at the sunset ceremony.
The final RCMP sunset ceremony is set for July 21st, with all events free for the public to attend. A Saskatchewan woman who spent more than 4 decades behind the counter of McDonald's is calling it a career. Brenda Smith worked at a Regina McDonald's for 43 years. Today, friends and family gathered to bid her well in her retirement. Smith says she was excited to see how many people came out to congratulate her, but is also ready to enjoy retirement. Smith says following the party, she was being taken out for dinner, but there's no word on whether that was to McDonald's. Still to come, the Bank of Canada releases its latest key interest rate, what that means for consumers. Also, what a looming labor dispute at WestJet means for travelers this summer. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Thousands of WestJet flight attendants could soon be walking off the job. They voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action. And as Andrew Johnson reports, at the top of their list is demands of better pay.
Canadians could be thinking, here we go again. Last summer, it was Air Canada flight attendants on strike. Now their counterparts at WestJet could ground planes as soon as August long weekend. The vote wasn't even close. 99.4% of WestJet flight attendants indicated they're in favor of a strike. More than 4,400 cabin crew members represented by CUPE could legally walk off the job August 2nd. It's estimated up to 75,000 passengers per day could be affected if that happens, which is already on the minds of travelers today at YVR.
It sucks for the travelers, for sure. But, I mean, there's also other airlines they could book with.
I'm on the workers' side. I was a Teamster for years.
The union says the main issues are wages, unpaid work, and working conditions. Specifically, CUPE says WestJet flight attendants work on average 35 unpaid hours a month, including during flight delays on the tarmac and during boarding.
The last thing we want to do is go on strike. That's the absolute last thing we want to do. We don't really have a choice. We need unpaid work addressed.
That's the same beef Air Canada flight attendants walked out over last year. They are now partially compensated for work on the ground prior to takeoff. WestJet's CEO says the airline is determined to reach an agreement, and he's confident in finding a workable outcome. If you're flying WestJet around August long weekend, it'll be tough to plan ahead for this. The union only has to provide 72 hours strike notice, so passengers won't know until the end of July whether their relaxing summer vacation could instead go sideways. Andrew Johnson, CTV News at Vancouver International Airport.
A second person has been confirmed dead after an explosion and fire at an apartment fire in Edmonton. An 85-year-old man died jumping from a balcony to escape the flames. Police now say his 82-year-old wife died in the fire. Another person who was missing after the Monday fire has been found safe. First responders still haven't been able to properly search the ruins of the building. Police have not said what led to the car crash that caused the explosion and fire. A Saskatchewan Conservative MP is among a group of his peers who say current approaches to bail laws and the justice system has contributed to a rise in violent crime.
Crime is an issue that unfortunately touches Canadians in every community, big and small. And despite the rhetoric and the illusion that the Mark Carney Liberals are trying to paint about taking action, we know a year into Mark Carney's government that the results just don't match the rhetoric. Numerous pieces of legislation have not only failed to undo previous bad Liberal policy, but they've in fact made it worse, further weakening penalties and sentencing provisions.
The Conservatives are calling for stricter penalties and tougher measures for repeat and violent offenders. Prairie grain will begin moving through the port of Churchill in Manitoba for the first time in 6 years. As Canada works to diversify its global trade markets, Ottawa has said it hopes to transform the port into a year-round multi-commodity trade hub. The group, which owns and operates it, has also signed agreements with several international ports. Experts say the return of grain shipments through the port could mark a turning point for the facility.
To build pipelines and other things to move energy products to markets outside of Canada. And so by showing that we can do it at the port of Churchill, there's a potential for tremendous growth for Manitoba.
Churchill is the only deep water seaport in northern Canada. The Bank of Canada is watching international factors like the Middle East and tariffs as it keeps to a steady as she goes approach, with the trend-setting bank rate remaining at a 2.25% for the sixth consecutive time. But the bank's governor also revealed a sense of optimism. Judy Trin reports.
Economic growth looks to have resumed in Canada.
The Bank of Canada is holding its key policy rate at 2.25% after the economy showed signs of a rebound.
While U.S. trade policy continues to be a headwind, consumers have been resilient and businesses are adapting.
Despite uncertainty surrounding the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Free Trade Agreement, the central bank's governor says businesses are finding new markets and exporting more.
Business sentiment in general, consumer confidence is slowly rising. Consumer spending is maintained.
The Canadian economy has remained flat since January 2025, but this quarter it's expected to grow, but only by 0.7%.
April GDP was largely, which grew quite strongly, was largely almost all accounted for by oil and gas. But there were some small growth registering amongst a wide range of sectors.
The biggest risk to growth globally is the shattering of the Iran-U.S. ceasefire. The war on the waterway puts a chokehold on 20% of the world's supply of oil and gas that goes through the Strait of Hormuz. Inflation in Canada currently sits at 3%.
Inflation in Canada is poised to ease, provided global oil prices decline from elevated levels. And third, uncertainty remains high.
Tiff Macklem is also crediting Canadian consumers for propping up the economy. While the population is shrinking, consumer spending has remained steady. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to keep the U.S. on daylight saving time year-round. Proponents say it would spare Americans the semi-annual clock change, but critics say it could have negative economic consequences, especially for farmers. According to the National Conference of State Legislatures, many states are ready to embrace the shift. 19 states have enacted legislation to switch to year-round daylight saving time if Congress allows it. But the bill also allows states to opt out if they act before it takes effect. A giant planet has been discovered after being hidden for years behind debris in one of the most studied parts of our galaxy. This is an artist's concept of the exoplanet named Beta Pictoris D. NASA was not looking for a new planet, but it was detected by a unique chemical fingerprint of its atmosphere. Astronomers say the faint new world orbiting a young star adds another piece to an already fascinating planetary system that is about 23 million years old.
Hello. I'm Ovid Pilon and I'm coming to Batoche on July 16th, 17th, and 18th in the place where I was born and lived for years. I will be performing there with Ovid and the Classics on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So check out the schedule because I will be singing some French Mitchif songs and a tribute to CCR. On va se voir là. Ça va-tu être beau, Jeff? Donne-moi du soleil et du bon temps à Batoche.
Well, Ovid, that was quite the serenade. And according to my translation service, I believe you're asking what's the weather going to be like? Give me sunshine, Jeff. Well, I believe you're going to be très content because, well, Karska, we have got ourselves a pretty nice day shaping up. Oh, and by the way, I don't have any pictures of Batoche, but I do have the statue of Gabriel Dumont there in Friendship Park here in Saskatoon. 26 degrees on Saturday, or rather tomorrow. 7 o'clock over in the Classics will be on the outside stage. Mainly sunny conditions, so things are looking very good. For more information on Back to Batoche, métisgathering.ca. They've got so many things going on out at the National Historic Site. So 24 degrees right now in Saskatoon with cloudy skies, the same, but a little bit more sunshine in Prince Albert, and 23 degrees in the Battlefords region. A little breezier in Saskatoon, otherwise not much of a wind in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. Saskatoon's high today, 25 degrees. That's seasonal for this time of year. We've got ourselves 37 for our record temperature. That was set way back in 1894. The cold temperature record from 1918, that's 4 degrees, and the sun's going to go down at 9:21.
Coming up, finding ways to stay cool, why people aren't the only ones seeking reprieve from the sun.
Music fans, we've got an exclusive announcement tomorrow, and we're bringing along the Hunter Brothers to help out. We'll unveil the nominees for the CCMA Musical Collaboration of the Year Award.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam, and as you can see, some clouds out there right now. The potential for some showers, maybe even a thunderstorm, is certainly there, and that's not a surprise given the circumstances we've been dealing with for the last little while. Let's take a look and see what our satellite and radar shot reveals. Well, it reveals a lot of activity on the radar screen emanating up from the U.S. and into Alberta, Saskatchewan, parts of Manitoba, certainly skirting the international border there around Montana and North Dakota. And so, yes, some unsettled conditions to be sure. 24 degrees in Saskatoon in the Prince Albert region, 23 in the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, that's Sandy Bay at 29 degrees. The cold spot, Stony Rapids at 8. Around the province we go for tomorrow, or for today. In fact, right now, temperatures of 24 degrees in Lloydminster and Swift Current, 23 in Moose Jaw, Regina, and Estevan, and 21 in York. And into central parts of the province, and we've got ourselves temperatures that don't vary all that much. Just about a 4-degree range here from 22 in Kindersley up to 26. That's in Nipawin and Hudson Bay. Up north, pretty warm temperatures there. In fact, warmer than they are in the central part of the province and the Southland. 29 degrees right now in La Ronge. Not bad if you like hot temperatures. And down south, no, there's no 29-degree temperatures here. In fact, temperatures range from 20 degrees in Broadview up to 27 in Maple Creek. We do have a number of locations in and around that 23 or 22-degree mark now, making our way to our futurecast. So the computer modeling indicating that, yes, it looks like the most active weather is going to be swirling up into parts of northern Saskatchewan, all associated with a low pressure center that is moving up that way. You can see that counterclockwise rotation on that system. And then it looks like there'll be a little something down in southern Saskatchewan where they probably don't need any more active weather, but it looks like it's going to be showing up a bit more intense in Manitoba. A lot of tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in effect for parts of Alberta. But right now, just up around the Laloche and Cluff Lake areas, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch box in effect. It doesn't show up on our map here, but there's a big chunk of northern Saskatchewan towards the eastern side of the province that is under an air quality alert because of wildfire smoke. A mix of sky conditions tomorrow for the north, keeping our eye on the possibility of showers and thunderstorms for Stony Rapids and Key Lake. Mix of sky conditions, mainly sunny conditions in Meadow Lake and Rosetown, mainly cloudy in Spearwood and Kindersley, but temperatures in the mid to high 20s on Thursday. Temperatures in and around the 28-degree mark with mainly cloudy skies for the southwest. A little bit cooler, but still on the warm side of seasonal for southeastern Saskatchewan, or at least most of it. Cloudy in Yorkton at 23 degrees, still not a bad day. And temperatures of around 25 degrees for east central Saskatchewan, cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. Chance of some showers and a risk of a thunderstorm tonight in the Battlefords region. 15 degrees with mainly cloudy skies on Thursday and a high of 28, and then getting into the low 30s for Friday and Saturday. But look at that, really unsettled on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Friday. Temperatures do drop down to below seasonal values, but then they bounce back by Tuesday and Wednesday. Prince Albert, 16 degrees overnight, 26 tomorrow. As you can see, we've got some unsettled conditions in store, getting up to 29 on Friday, 28 on Saturday. And Saskatoon tonight dropping down to 16 degrees, a chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, 28 degrees tomorrow, and then things really warm up as we head towards Friday and Saturday. Former President Joe Biden plans to publish his memoir titled Promise Me America this fall. Little Brown and Company says the book is set for release November 17th and will cover topics from the economy to Biden's decision not to seek re-election. Biden describes the book as a reflection on national challenges and his faith in America. The release comes 2 weeks after Election Day, which may concern some Democrats as they seek to regain control of Congress. Biden's health and his decision to step down are expected to be key topics. The Queen of Pop has inspired a comic book. It's called Female Force, Madonna, the sequel. The story will center around her various personas, covering her transformations over the course of the last decade. This is the second book from Tidal Wave Comics and comes ahead of her 68th birthday on August 16th. Visitors to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's hometown can see the composer and his dog in miniature form. Salzburg, Austria is celebrating the 270th anniversary of his birth, and 300 gold statuettes, which stand about 50 centimeters or 20 inches tall, were designed by a German concept artist. Mozart was born on January 27, 1756, and is still celebrated in Salzburg with concerts and museum offerings. What? No love for Salieri?
It's an interesting tribute, that is for sure. All right, speaking of tributes, people pay tribute to many things in Pick of the Day.
They certainly do. And today we've got some interesting ones, including a dog, but I'll save that for the end. Check this out. This looks like it could be a car commercial, but this comes to us from Ron. Ron says a lightning storm passed by Candle Lake last Saturday night. It really caught our attention. I can understand why. Yes, I was up in the Candle Lake area yesterday, and I heard that the lightning shows over the weekend were pretty amazing. This comes to us from Beth out in the RM of Corman Park. Well, there you go. This is what I'm talking about. Beth writes, new definition of corn dog. I think it looks like a Jack Russell. I think so. Anyhow, somebody will tell us, but great shot there. We have no idea what the dog's name, and this is an amazing shot. This looks, so perfect. This comes from Doug. Grandson Maverick waving goodbye to one of the last flights of the snowbirds just outside of Saskatoon yesterday. What a great shot there. So thank you, Doug, for sharing that, and thanks for waving, Maverick. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, or you can scan the QR code on the screen, and that will help get those pictures to us.
Still to come on CTV News, seeking shelter from the sun, how some zoo animals are staying cool in the heat. As we bask in the true heat of summer, people aren't the only ones finding ways to stay cool. Amanda Anderson took a trip to the Edmonton Valley Zoo to find out how our animal counterparts are taking in the season.
After a few minutes out of the water, perhaps belly aching about the heat, these seals at the Edmonton Valley Zoo jump right back into their pool.
We make sure we have the top animal care for them, make sure that the welfare is up to standard, and making sure that all our animals are really well taken care of.
When the temperature soars, zoo staff often make special treats for the animals. Like these trays filled with shrimp and berries, soon to be what they call frozen popsicles.
So our seals and our otters, we like to feed them in the pool to encourage them to be out in that cool water.
The zoo is home to many cold weather animals, not fans of the hot, sunny weather.
I think the biggest issue is people looking for the animals and them hiding somewhere in their enclosures.
The animals will often camp out under the shade of a tree or inside their shelters. On a hot day, this is a rare sighting. The red pandas are a little more sensitive to the temperature and usually stay inside.
They prefer to be inside their building where there's strong AC, and they tend to stay hidden. So if you come to the zoo, you might have to look inside their windows to get a chance to see them.
A mist is also sprayed in some of the enclosures. There's also a few spots to help keep animal watchers cool too. Places parents are also taking advantage of.
There is a little wading pool where the kids can put their feet in, and I put my feet in there too because it's a hot day. It's a hot day, so that was great to be able to just cool down in that way.
A few animals native to tropical areas are loving this weather. When it's hot and sunny, there's a good chance of seeing the meerkats soaking up some rays or getting a glimpse of the lemurs. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
When we come back, how the Riders could be preparing for their next match, and later of the deadly flower people are lining up to take a whiff of.
Okay, here we go with the rural forecast as we take a look at Thursday. And for the most part, temperatures pretty much seasonal for tomorrow. A little warmer, a little cooler in some places, but not cold by any stretch of the imagination. 27 for Meadow Lake and Lloydminster and Kindersley at 28 degrees, all under mainly sunny skies. A bit more cloud cover as we make our way towards central and eastern parts of our map. As you can see, Hudson Bay dropping down to 24 degrees, Melfort 24 as well. 23 in Wynyard, still pretty pleasant, but just a hair below seasonal. As we make our way down south, what do we get? We get warmer, that's for sure. As you can see over towards the western side of the province, temperatures flirting with 30 degrees towards Kenora, 23, 24, as you can see as we take a look at Broadview. But hey, for Beachy, it's looking like 26 degrees tomorrow. Winds out of the west of 15, but the humidity's out there is going to feel like 31. And don't forget, Beachy is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. Riders on a bye week with a 4-1 record. So let's take a look at how things have gone so far this season, Wes. And let's start with the offense, where we saw an unbelievable receiving game we're seeing from the Riders right now. Harris is playing extremely well, but Keyshawn Johnson has 479 yards. Schaefer Baker, 471. So they're well on pace for over 1,000. And Emilus is doing well, too. So what is your thoughts on this offense and the way they've been performing early on this season?
Well, I think the offense, it really just comes down to health, Lee. I mean, like you just mentioned, you've got studs at receiver, and then there's kind of some guys waiting in the wings. We saw a little bit from Weeb. You know, obviously there's some other guys, Canadians too, right? Like Mims and other guys like that. They could definitely step in and help out. And Trevor seems to have his guys that he likes. But at the end of the day, offensively, you've got one of the most accurate and quickest release quarterbacks in the league, if not the most accurate. And then also you've got a strong up front O-line. Everybody seems to be healthy, you know, all the way from Collins over to Yoshi. You know, everybody looks good there. And then and everybody loves A.J. Ouellette at the running back position. So as far as offense goes, I'm not too worried at all about the Riders.
Yeah, definitely. That if the line allows him to throw the ball as quick as he can, they're going to be good. Defensively, though, your thoughts? They kind of started off a little slow. Don't know if you want to say it was the Dolagala effect, but they looked really good in their last game. And you got a guy like Vauders who's now tied for the league in sacks with 4 in the CFL. So are you seeing they're starting to build a little bit? Because there was a lot of changes up front.
Well, I mean, Vauders is starting to look like a really good pickup, Lee. I mean, he's really, I think his best year has been like 6 or 7 sacks. So he's on pace to just blow that out of the water and have one of his best careers. And then you look at the way guys have been, you know, handling business. There's obviously been some injuries. And then we were there's some question marks still about which ends are going to be in the rotation. You've had some DBs get hurt, but it's all seemed to work out in a sense. The linebackers have stepped up, made big plays, had big games. You see last week, you know, you got the big return from Woods. And then Antoine Brooks Jr. has been making big plays. He's the one that caused the fumble that was a scoop and almost scored. And then also he hustled and got the block that sprung Woods. So I think the linebacking core has been keeping that defensive group together. Secondary's been they've had a lot of bodies, so they've been able to rotate guys and kind of go with the hot hand, so to speak, back there in the secondary. So it's really looking like the defense that was a question mark at the beginning of the season is coming together and stepping up and performing above expectations so far.
Let's talk about special teams. That might be the biggest concerns. We've now got 2 returners that went down and now on a 6-game injured list. Most recently, Matthew Sexton. Maybe it might be Daniel Weave that's going to have to do this. But what are your thoughts on that? And also Alex Hale, 10 for 13. The furthest field goal he's hit is 38 yards. And in that last game, they decided to punt instead of go for about a 48-yard field goal. What are your concerns with Alex Hale, or do you have it?
Well, I mean, not right now, Lee. He's young. I mean, obviously he's a global player, so he's helping with the roster that way, giving you an extra body, at least on offense or defense, right? That way with the global rules. So I would say you kind of let him work through some hiccups. Hopefully, halfway through the season, he's cleaned some of that up. Obviously, he's not somebody that you're definitely trusting in right now, but we've got time. The offense is scoring enough touchdowns, and the defense is playing well enough that we can work with Alex right now, give him a little grace period. But if it comes down to the wire later on in the season, maybe you think about bringing somebody in. But he has a big enough leg, and I think maybe he just needs some good coaching, and he should be able to work his way through it.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see. By the way, Brett Lothar, 100% so far in Ottawa. It's the way it goes, doesn't it? It's just the way it goes.
That way.
Yeah. Well, bye week, so not much to talk about next week other than getting ready for that game versus the Edmonton Elks, who will likely determine who is in first place in the West Division. We'll talk about that game on another edition of X's and O's.
More than 24 Meta employees are suing the company, claiming it used artificial intelligence to determine layoffs. The lawsuit claims Meta also used keystroke and activity monitoring data to make the decision. It claims that resulted in people on medical, parental, or family leave being disproportionately targeted. Each of the 26 anonymous employees in the lawsuit were either on a protected leave or had requested or received an accommodation for disability. In a statement, Meta says the allegations lack merit and are not based on facts, insisting all workforce decisions are made by people. As you heard earlier, WestJet's flight attendants have voted in favor of a strike. Mirella Fernandez has more on that from the business world.
More than 99% voted in favor of a strike, which could happen as early as August 2nd. WestJet has 4,400 flight attendants. The union that represents them says flight attendants do about 35 hours of unpaid work a month and that wages aren't keeping up with inflation. Both are issues on the table. WestJet CEO says the airline is determined to reach an agreement with workers. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.22 U.S. West Texas Intermediate up to 79.60 U.S. a barrel. Western Canadian Select is up to 64.89. And the TSX gained 95 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
Coming up, digging deep for the finances to buy this fossil. Then the foul flowers drawing lines of people.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Master Chef. Well, a skeleton of one of the largest T-Rexes ever found sold at auction, and it went for a gargantuan price. This is now the most expensive fossil sold at auction. Nicknamed Gus, it fetched the equivalent of more than $70 million Canadian at Sotheby's in New York. The 11.5-meter long Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton is about 67 million years old and was discovered in South Dakota just in 2021. The auction house says it is one of the most complete T-Rex fossils ever found, and it reportedly shows bite marks and evidence of fractures. The dinosaur survived. The winning bid was placed over the phone by an anonymous bidder. Wonder what you're going to do with that.
I don't know.
Put it up on display somewhere.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly right.
That's what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, speaking of things on display, a rare and stinky event has been drawing long lineups in California. 2 rare corpse flowers bloom together at this week's Huntington's Botanical Gardens in San Marino. The smell of these flowers while in bloom has been compared to a lot of stinky things like rotting flesh. This is the first time two of them have bloomed side by side. Look how close they're getting.
I know. Well, hey, when's the next time you get a chance to get a good whiff of that?
Possibly never. I don't know. But I guess.
To each his own.
This is true.
We've got ourselves an interesting forecast as we take a look tomorrow. Things are looking actually not too bad for the most part. We might see some active weather as we get into the evening hours, but all in all, a pleasant day for most of tomorrow.
Except for the mosquitoes.
Well, yeah, what do you want me to do about that?
Swat them. Thanks for watching.